Welcome back to the Innovators. I'm Julia Sun. In 2020, millennials are expected to make up about half of the American workforce. If you type millennials are in a Google search, a bunch of stereotypes pop up. Some say we're lazy. Well, they are so wrong. Most of us know that we'll work longer than every generation before us, and according to a recent survey by Manpower Group, 1 in 8 of us think that we'll work until the day we die. Yeah, and we'll live longer too. One of the reasons why we will be able to keep working is the availability of gigs. We grew up with this newer ecosystem called the gig economy, and a lot of us like the flexibility even though there are downsides. The gig economy will evolve and it could reshape this and next generation's well-being. What's going to happen by the time we're 40 or 50? Joining me to break this down is our panel. Welcome, guys. We have Emily Ann Epstein, digital media consultant, Gordon Gray, the director of fiscal policy at American Action Forum, and Dr. Talea Waller, founder and CEO of Waller and Company. Welcome, guys. I'm going to start with you, Emily, because you're definitely familiar with this. You know what it's like to not work a 9-to-5 job, right? Where do you think this whole thing is going, this picking up work, picking up gigs on the go culture?
So I think the key word that you already used is flexibility. That is the flashpoint for this issue. And gig workers love it. Traditional employers don't. So maybe there's something in there that's where the medium needs to come together. Maybe instead of only having flexibility when you're a gig worker, full-time employers could be incentivized to allow flexibility in their workforces. Imagine if you could actually work for 40 hours a week with a full-time job. Imagine if you could have actual vacation and paid sick days. Yeah. Then so many people wouldn't be pushed into a gig economy which has no protections.
Yeah, and Gordon, you know very well that a lot of gig workers don't get the benefits, right? And we had this whole problem of classifying workers. My Lyft driver this morning, for example, we had this whole debate about, do we classify him as a contractor or an employee? We remember that fight very well. As gigs become more separated, saturated, however you call it, how do you think the government can regulate this space? And let's face it, the government, the regulators are usually behind. So in the future, what can they do to protect the workers?
This isn't a monolithic workforce or industry, right? We have a tremendous amount of variety, both in the services and for sort of good selling businesses, so the diversity of just the business in general. The nature of the workers is highly heterogeneous, and so my concern would be that in trying to regulate this industry, we take a one-size-fits-all sort of clunky approach.
Even if the regulators are a little behind, you know that full well, Ms. Waller, that people are still merging to that space because there are incentives. Can you talk about the trends, and can you talk about why are people keep flocking to the gig economy?
Mm-hmm. I think in addition to some of the gigs that we think about, like the Uber, the DoorDash, there are many professionals that also want to have the flexibility that Emily spoke about. And so with that flexibility is the flexibility to do what you love, is the flexibility to change industries, maybe 1 to 3 years. It's also the flexibility to be with your family. We see this with everyone, including executives. So Belinda Johnson, as an example, COO of Airbnb, is stepping down. Now she's going to serve on the board of directors, but that's so she could spend more time with her family. So I think that people are building their brand equity so that they could take their expertise and move wherever they want to and still work in their job and do what they're passionate about.
Yeah.
So.
And like I said, my generation, our generation, we all expect to live longer with modern medicine and everything, which means we'll also work longer. In that case, if we want to get into this gig economy, what suggestion do each of you have on getting into the game? Say, like, I am the best dog walker in the universe, but I never heard of Rover until this morning. Damn, I don't have 105 star reviews. How do I get booked? right? What suggestions do you have for these people who want a pie, who want a piece of pie?
Well, when I was building my business, the biggest part of that was networking, and that means social media. So the same way that an app can make things easier for you to pick up a ride share or something like that, being connected to everybody you've ever met in your entire life means you have access to all of these customers. Maybe it doesn't result to 5-star reviews right away, but it'll come, and you have that ability to turn every single coffee into an opportunity now or in a year from now.
Technology-enabled platforms are so valuable, and I think that the regulators and governments should should be very humble in their approach to regulating it so that we don't actually harm the opportunities that they present.
I would say find a mentor that's already been on the platform before so that you can learn all of the hacks and tips of the trade. And in addition to that, your network is important because whenever you're starting a business, because you are the business entity at that moment, whenever you're starting a business, you need to start with your network, start with the people that you know, but then also you need to have business fundamentals such as managing your finances so that you know what's working and what's not for you, and you're maximizing your time.
Always good advice. Thank you guys for joining me. Emily, Gordon, and Talia. And thank you for tuning in. We'll see you back here next week.